Are you ready to unlock some new levels of confidence on live video, all while increasing your traction and growing your audience organically? I know in the online space, live video is kind of taking over right now, and there are a lot of entrepreneurs who are still sitting on the sideline waiting for some kind of sign or some kind of green light to jump on this unbelievable platform in this incredible time with this insane opportunity to reach so many more people in such a beautiful and authentic way. Tonight, we are talking about the importance of live video, specifically the one tweak that I really don't see any other experts talking about. This one little adjustment that is seriously going to make your videos stand out in the online space. If you're just jumping on for the first time, my name is Jen Casey. I am a business strategy coach, and I work with online entrepreneurs, specifically those in the health and wellness field, turn their social media into sales. I grew up as a performer in musical theater, and so getting in front of people was something I was comfortable with, but live video was something that I really struggled with. Video in general, I just didn't like the way I looked on camera. It was not a place where I felt entirely comfortable, but there were a few adjustments that I needed to make emotionally, internally, and a few things that I needed to become aware of in order to not just practice, but to effectively analyze what I was doing so that I could continuously improve what I was doing. And I think it all really boils down to one thing, and it's this idea of apologizing. We're going to unbox this a little bit. But ultimately, when we get on camera, or if we are coaching someone, or we are in front of a group of people and we are delivering some kind of content, and you are verbally apologizing or physically apologizing, this is definitely going to poke some holes in your credibility and have the audience question whether or not they are going to be confident working with you moving forward. We never want to leave people with that sense of, gosh, they're so uncomfortable, I can tell they're uncomfortable, and now I feel uncomfortable, and now we're just this room of really awkward discomfort. The idea of apologizing is kind of this. We'll see people verbalize it and apologize for their hair being a mess, for the children screaming in the background, for the clothing that they have stacked up behind them. Oh, sorry guys, all this stuff in the way. But then there's also those people who apologize physically and maybe don't even realize it. And they're not even aware they're doing it, so how can you correct something that you're not aware you're doing? Now, when I say physically, I mean the people who vocally are pinching their voice tight, and all of a sudden they sound like Mickey and Minnie. And when I used to work in a restaurant, this is something that happened a lot. You would see people hanging out in the back before they go out to their table, and they would be like, oh, hey, Jen, what's up? How's it going? And then they walk out and they're like, hi, how are you? My name's Kelly. I'm going to be helping you today. And all of a sudden, they pull their voice up to a different pitch, to a different register, because there's this misconception that that is going to be more well-received and perceived as a more likable person. When in reality, even if we don't totally recognize it, or even if we're not able to identify it fully intuitively, there's something in us that picks up on that inauthenticity, on that nervousness, on that fear. So that physicality in terms of the voice, the inflections, that is so key to become more aware of, and really maybe do some voice training and work on how to ground your voice vocally so that you are speaking from a more confident, grounded, truthful place. Now, if you are presenting new content, that can sometimes create a little bit of that tension if you're a little bit nervous or uncomfortable, or you've never vocalized and actually presented certain things. That can definitely happen. But if it's something that you've really rehearsed, that you know without a shadow of a doubt that you are the expert on this content, after a while, after presenting it a few times, you really should start to notice that your voice will drop in and definitely sound more like you. There's also people on the other end of the spectrum who are so focused on saying everything perfectly and everything should be in its nice little box and like this. And what happens there is they sound like a robot and it doesn't sound the way that they would be in person. And I think the beautiful thing about live video is this whole idea that you are getting a sense of how the person is in real life. My boyfriend the other day gave me one of the biggest compliments that I think I deem as ever getting, that he said, you are 100% who you are on camera, the way that you are in person. Even more so. Like, I'm a total introvert, so if I went to a party, I would be more uncomfortable and less myself than I am on Facebook Live. Because I know when I'm on Facebook Live, I'm in my zone of genius. I know exactly who I'm talking to. I know what I'm presented, and I'm excited and passionate about what I'm talking about. So we start to find our rhythm the more that we do it. Another thing in terms of apologizing that we'll see sometimes is a person's physicality. Now, of course, great lighting and some good mic stuff will definitely help to enhance your production value, maybe setting up some stuff behind you, having a clean and clear set so that you are the primary focus, but really making sure that you're not hunched over, closed off. There are so many different things when it comes to your physicality that could be communicating something that you do not want to communicate to your ideal client, to the people who you are trying to work with. If you are constantly doing a live video or doing a coaching thing or presenting and you're closed off or your arms are crossed or your head's down, that, even though you're not saying I'm sorry, it has a very deflated and apologetic look to it. And that is what we subconsciously interpret. So it's really important to become aware of that. Of course, there are some people who are very stiff. On the other end of the spectrum, people whose arms are flailing all over the place when they get uncomfortable. So all of these things, we really want to start to take a look at how you are in real life when you are speaking to the people that you are most comfortable with, and essentially relearn how to be a human. I know as someone who, I used to perform, as a professional actor, and essentially going into acting training, that's what they're teaching you. They're teaching you how to not be an awkward mess and helping you figure out how to become a human again on stage. Essentially, that's what you're learning. So it's really this fascinating element of psychology, really essentially getting out of your own way. So that is this whole idea of apologizing. But there's a couple of things that I really want to address tonight because especially when I talk to my clients about live video, there's definitely some fears around this and some things that come up that I personally see as misconceptions or just pretty much misconceptions, things that they believe the world is against them. What are people going to think of me? What if I mess up? What if I say something that's incorrect and someone calls me out and yells at me? And there are so many things. The mind is so unbelievably creative and has such an incredible imagination that we can create all sorts of scenarios, good, bad, ugly, upside down, you name it. We are able to do that. So I want you to recognize that when you get on live video, or if you are an actor and you go in front of a group of people to audition, people are rooting for you. There's this idea that when you get up in front of people, they're just waiting for you to fail. They're not waiting for you to fail. They want their problems solved. And you, as a coach, as a thought leader in the online space or anywhere else, you are presenting a solution. They want you to be right. They don't want you to suck. They want answers and guidance to the things that they are working on, right? When you go and watch someone on live video, you're not hoping that they forget their place. You're not hoping or thinking that they're going to flub. You're saying, what can I learn from this? What value can this bring to my life? So even if we take the scenario of an actor walking into a casting call, those casting directors are not sitting there going, ugh, this person's going to suck, blah, blah, blah. They're sitting there going, man, I hope this girl or this guy is going to be the one that takes it home for us. We haven't seen anybody that we've liked today, and we need to cast this role and finish casting the show. I hope that this is our girl. They are 100% rooting for you. Now, of course, on the flip side, you're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. Not everyone is going to love you and think that you are God's gift to performing or the next Tony Robbins or whatever it may be. But I think it's really important to realize that that's okay. And I know we say that a lot, and you'll hear that a lot, and there's a lot of cute quotes about, being you and being authentic and not worrying about what other people think. But for a lot of people, that is way easier said than actually done. Because when you see that person that doesn't like you or doesn't want to watch your stuff, man, that can be a blow to the ego. But at the end of the day, it's that idea of just bless and release. Why does that matter? It really comes down to that whether or not this person wants to listen to your stuff, whether or not they want to follow you, it's irrelevant. Because there are so many other people that are hungry and waiting for you to show up in the online space and waiting for you to teach them. There is no doubt that the online space has more than enough coaches, business coaches, health coaches, life coaches. There's no shortage. We know that. But even so, there is still so much room and so much of a vacancy because your people are waiting for you. Your people are waiting for you. And it's up to you to make that decision whether or not you're going to show up, whether or not you are going to be brave enough to get out of your discomfort and get out of the fear that maybe they won't like me, maybe this message today won't resonate with them, and just go ahead and freaking do it. I think a really powerful thing that I learned from an incredible, incredible acting teacher was this idea that when you get up in front of people, instead of saying, I hope you liked it, and getting into that state of apologizing, before you even enter the room, you go in with the mentality, walk in with the mentality of, you're welcome. You are a gift, and you have many gifts, and you're brought into this body, on this planet, into this world, in this time, to share your gifts. And if you are unwilling to stand firmly and powerfully in that, you are not just doing a disservice to yourself, but a disservice to the entire world. Maybe you are not thinking that broad or that big vision with where you are at in your journey right now. But I really encourage you to start thinking a little bit bigger. You have something so incredibly powerful to give to the world, and no one else can do that. It is completely you, your story, your experience, your way of teaching the things that you do. No one else. There is not a single other person in the entire world, in all of time, that is going to explain something exactly the way that you do. Why would you not give that to the world? Right? Hey! Hi, Renette. What's up? Oh my gosh, so excited. We got some students on tonight. Okay, so it's this idea, right, that you're saying you're welcome before you even walk into the room. Now, I think it's really cool to kind of recognize that in every single moment, you want to be in a state of doing your personal best. So let's say I did the best job at coaching or on Facebook Live or whatever it is yesterday. Maybe I did the best one that I've ever done. But tomorrow I have a cold and my voice is really hoarse and I'm just kind of feeling off my game. Does that mean I don't show up? Maybe I need to rest. But if I do show up and I do decide to push on and I feel okay to do that, my personal best in that moment, given those circumstances, might not be at the same level that it was yesterday. But that's okay. Because I can walk away from Jen with a hoarse voice and a cold, knowing that I still gave my personal best in that moment. And when you approach every single challenge and every single adventure and every single moment with that mentality, you don't have regrets. Because you can say, did I do my personal best in this moment? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Even if the circumstances were not ideal and were not perfect, I still did my personal best. And there's something so incredibly powerful about that mentality and going into each thing with that kind of mindset. So that's number 2, is say you're welcome. Number 1 is know that people are rooting for you. Yes, walk in like you are welcome. Boom. Yes, hi Bree. Hey Renata, we got Kelly on. I love it. Okay, ready? So number 3 is this idea of fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it. Obviously, have the intentions of actually going out there and have the intentions of being that person that's going to put in the work. But I want you to understand that no matter where you are at in your journey, every single person in the entire world is constantly in a state of deciding to up-level or cower away. We are either moving forward or we are moving backward. At no point in time are we stagnant. And if we are feeling stagnant, essentially we are just decreasing in our talents, in our abilities, in our confidence, whatever it may be. We have to fake it till we make it. Every single person, no matter what level they get to, has experienced some sense of, oh my gosh, I am terrified. I am going to up-level in a way that I have never up-leveled before. Now, of course, if you've had some practice in getting uncomfortable, those things are a little bit easier. But it's still freaking scary because it's still the unknown. You still have never done it before. I'll give you an example. Starting a podcast and doing interviews. I am so excited that I am doing the Entrepreneur Now podcast. It is something that is totally a passion project. I'm having so much fun with it. I'm getting so much amazing feedback, and I'm beginning this process of going out and interviewing some really cool people. Now, have I ever officially interviewed people for a podcast? No. But am I going to say, well, I've never done it before, so I must not be any good, so I guess I just won't do it? Of course not. That would be ridiculous. I am saying, wow, I have no idea what this is going to look like. My first couple might completely stink. They might totally bomb. I have no idea what the structure should look like because I've never been trained on this. I don't know. This is all a fun adventure. Or I could turn around and realize that I am an innate podcast interviewer, unlike any other, and I'm just the bee's knees. I'm just the shit at this. So you just never know until you try. You have no idea. So I could either sit, and we all have this choice when it comes to live video, coaching calls, putting yourself out there, becoming visible. You can make the choice of, I've never done this before, or I've never done something in this way before, so I'm going to be scared and decide not to do it because what if it doesn't work, or what if it sucks? Well, yeah, that's everything and anything that you've ever done in your entire life. Everything. And if you start to recognize that, I think scary, quote unquote, scary things get a little bit easier. No one knows where to start. We're all, even the people who are like adulting so hard, like no one knows how to do these things. We all come into this world equal, essentially, right? No one has a vast amount of knowledge about how to balance a checkbook and how to budget out their finances and what the best foods are to eat and how to diet without dieting. And, you know, these are all things that are learned over time. We are all trying to figure this out as we go. The people who are successful are the ones who make a conscious and intentional decision to do the scary stuff anyway, even if they don't have all the answers. It's the people who maybe didn't come into this world with a ton of confidence, but they made an intentional decision to put in the work to become the person that would be capable of doing those amazing things. So I think it's really important for each and every one of us to really start assessing how far we are pushing ourselves on a daily basis. Are you going to the absolute extremes? Are you going to the place where you feel totally scared and suddenly acknowledge that fear is maybe not all it was chalked up to be? You lived through it. And as soon as you live through it, keep going and chasing scarier and scarier things. I think after a while you start to get addicted to that high after you experience some kind of growth. You accomplish something that you never ever dreamed you could, but you did it. And now you're like, well, now what's next? You know, I jumped out of a plane. What am I doing tomorrow? Or, oh my gosh, I finally called this person who I've been dying to talk to, who I've been dying to connect to, who I didn't think would write me back. And now all of a sudden, they want to work together. And it's like, oh my gosh, imagine if I didn't do that. Imagine if you didn't take that first step to reach out to that person, to get on a live video. I talk about this sometimes. My business partner, Angie, and I, people always ask us how we met. We met because I was randomly on her list and I kind of knew who she was. And then she commented on one of my live videos and said, oh my God, are you my brunette twin? And that's how our relationship began. We haven't known each other since we were 6. We've known each other for about a year. And it all started with both of us stepping forward in the online space, becoming visible, and being unapologetic about who we were. Now, if I had said, oh, I think I'll wait a couple of months to really see how this live video thing pans out, or if she said, you know, I don't know if I'm getting the highest open rates on my emails like I used to, we wouldn't have connected. And what a freaking loss. I mean, she's one of my best friends now. We started off as business acquaintances, became business partners, and now she's like, you know, a freaking sister. We talk all the time. You know, we've built this incredible multiple six-figure business, but none of that would have happened if we didn't get out of our own freaking way and do stuff that scared the bejesus out of us, right? Hi, Sue Ellen. Hi, Stacy. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you guys are all on tonight. Some of our WBA students and our peeps inside our private Facebook group, Help Coaches Go From Social Media to Sales. I'm so glad you guys popped on tonight. I know it's Friday, so you know, you guys, I can't believe you guys aren't out partying and drinking, right? Hi, Allison. Oh my God, I love it. Yeah, guys, so, I mean, just to quickly kind of recap for you, the one thing that I really don't see a lot of people teaching in the online space is, you know, maybe they don't have an acting background, I guess, but it's this idea of stop apologizing. Stop waiting for permission, stop apologizing. When you get on camera, just freaking do it. Deliver your content. Really become aware of your physical body, of your vocal inflections. You know, realize that people are rooting for you. They want you to be successful because they're looking for answers. And if you are not the person to deliver the answers that they're looking for, they're not going to throw tomatoes at their screen. They're not going to say, boo, I hate you. They're just going to go find someone else. It's really a very painless process of weeding out the people who are not your people. You know, really getting in front before you even get on camera. A mindset shift to get into is to say, you're welcome. You're welcome. In every single moment, become mindful that you are doing the best possible job that you can possibly put forth. You are giving all that you possibly can in that moment. So maybe one day you're a little bit more tired. Maybe you were a little bit sick. Maybe you've had a long day. Maybe you're just a little bit burnt out from something else. But if you show up and give your 100% best in that moment, no regrets. You just move on. You just say, did I do my best? Yep. Okay. I'm proud of myself and I can go ahead and move forward with my day. And this idea of faking it till you make it. No matter what level you get to in your business, no matter what level you get to in your life, there's always going to be that next place, that new level of expansion. And of course, it may be terrifying for you, but I think it's cool to also really think, well, what if it didn't have to be so uncomfortable and scary? What if it could be reframed and seen as something that's really fun and exciting? One thing that I said to some of my Wellpreneur Business Academy students the other day was that I actually get excited when I feel terrified about something. Now, that is so contrasting from how I was growing up. It was like, oh my God, I'm scared. Oh my God, shut down. Dun, 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 power down. And I was like, nope, I'm not doing it, or I can't do it. And I made all the excuses in the world. But today, when I feel that anxiety and I get a little scared about doing something new and the negative self-talk starts to happen, you know, where you're like, are you good enough? Are you going to be able to do it? We all experience that. We all have that. When that starts to come through for me, I get excited because to me, that is me being aware of the fact that I'm up-leveling. I'm getting out of my comfort zone. And this is kind of silly, but at the end of the day, it's like if you're not having negative self-talk, you're probably not thinking big enough. You're probably not being crazy enough. Right? Because when we're entrepreneurs and we have that positive mindset and it's abnormal for those negative self-talk moments to happen, it's because we're dreaming a little bit bigger. And those old wounds, those old gremlins are coming back saying, are you going to be good enough? Right? They come through and you're like, oh man, but don't let that derail you. So, oh my God, Nicole is on. Sue Ellen in the house. She goes, my favorite Friday night activity, hanging out with our crew and chatting about life. I agree. This is exactly how I would want to spend every Friday night, and I usually do. Yeah, I know. What's partying anymore? It's like, doesn't work just kind of it just becomes your baby? For me at this point, I'm like, my work and doing this kind of stuff, this is what gives me a rush. Yeah, I can go out and have a drink and that's cool, but I'm like, this is what gives me a natural high that I cannot get anywhere else. I totally agree. I love it. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for jumping on tonight. If you are not already inside the private Facebook group, head over to Health Coaches Go from Social Media to Sales. My business partner, Angie Lee, and I, we run that group, and we provide weekly or sometimes daily trainings, live videos, all kinds of good stuff on how to master your mindset, master your money blocks, and really build a thriving online business, turn your social media into sales. So please come over to the Facebook group. You can also get there by typing in www.healthcoachesmakebank.com. It's free. It's really fun. We've got a great crew in there. So I look forward to seeing you inside there, and I will see you guys soon.